after watching the film, just like we thought after the game, we did some things very well, and we did some things not so well. So we've got to continue to work. I think the big thing we need to do is the same thing I've been talking about week after week. A lot of things come down to fundamentally getting better, and that's something that really bothers me because that's something I take great pride in as we continue to push forward and develop this program. We need to be a better fundamental football team. So the errors in execution, missed assignments, technique, they're all rooted in discipline. So we need to continue to work and get better and push forward. As I said after the game, very proud of our team's effort. I thought they were ready to play. I thought it was a tough week last week. I didn't want to say that during the week and give them that out, but getting back late the week before, I felt like we were tired and just it took a lot to get them emotionally and physically ready to play. They responded. I thought we played fast and competed well. We just need to do things better and be a better fundamental team. Give them credit. Mississippi State again. They beat us. They're a better team. So we'll get back to work this week. Excited about the opportunity to go to Missouri, team that's 6-2, has won a lot of football games the past 2 years, very well coached. So we need to do better, and we'll see how we respond.
Coach, obviously Patrick had a big game. Talk about his players.
Yeah, very, very pleased with Patrick. I thought to be critical, and it is important, there were some things early that we missed, that he may have been a little too excited or amped up or whatever it is, that we need to start better. There was a couple plays early that we missed. Once he settled in, he really did some very good things. And again, it was great to see him throw some big-time passes. And I thought he really threw the ball well, threw the deep ball well, put it in some tough spots, and I thought he was extremely tough running the ball as well.
How much does that give you a chance as a program once you find that guy, once you find a quarterback who can sort of raise his level in a big moment?
I think it's very big. I think you have very little chance with the teams that we're competing against without a player there, without a quarterback. So I think it does give us a chance, and I think, again, it was great to see him get back to really making those big-time throws and seeing our receivers step up and compete and make some plays for him as well.
Hey, Coach, just as a follow-up to that, those receivers must have been running some good routes, too.
They were. We challenged them all week. Felt like we needed to play better at that position, and they did. They really competed hard, ran fast. So that you always have a chance when you're doing that, and I think again that's a trademark of Missouri, especially on both sides of the ball. I think they play very passionately and play very tough, and again that's what we need to see out of our team all the time. And I felt like we responded that way, and certainly at wide receiver.
I think Jabari Johnson had 4 career tackles before the LSU game. What kind of sort of story is he for guys that might be toiling down on the depth chart?
Yeah, I think it's a great story once again for a guy like Jabari. A year ago when we first got here and through last year trying to find the right spot for him, and he just hung in there and continues to work, and he always has a great attitude. And we felt like, as I said a couple times, but I felt like we needed to get bigger at certain spots, certainly against these last 2 opponents. And he gave us some size, and he's really doing some good things. And again, I just love his attitude and work ethic, and it's what we're looking for within this team. An older guy that just really continues to work and put his head down and do the best he can to help his team. And he's really making some good plays.
Your defense seemed to have stop for little or no gain on several plays Saturday. Is that part of the fundamentals you're talking about when you break a big play
after you're saying we had some stops for 0 gain and then we give up some big ones? Yeah. That is. And again, I don't want to take anything away from them. So they had a few individual efforts that were special. And, again, give credit to Dak because he broke some tackles on a couple runs that were just impressive. But certainly, yeah, as a defensive coach and as a defense, you're never proud of those moments. When you miss 3, 4, 5 tackles in one play, it's not what you're looking for. I think it's, there's position on the football. There's certainly things coaching-wise that I can do better and we will do better, and individually, technique-wise, and just that aggressive play that we need all the time and the consistency of that.
Mark, for the casual observer, you look at Missouri and games they played, and it's somewhat of a game, I guess for lack of a better word, mystery. Some of the games they won on the road, and some they lost.
Yeah, I think if you look at college football, I don't think any of us want to be judged by one game, or 1 or 2 games. So it's hard to play your best in 12 games. That's just a fact. And I think, they didn't play their best, and give Georgia credit, and that's the game everybody wants to talk about. But that's one game. Outside of that, I thought they played some very good football this year. There's just a few miscues in the Indiana game. It could have went either way. So, but heck, look at what they did last year, and look at, they're sitting here at 6-2, and they probably feel a lot like us in that they haven't played their best yet, and they're a very good team, and like I said, they've won, they've been there before. They're an experienced group, especially as a coaching staff. I know they have some new guys this year in their roster. But
Neil said after the game Saturday, we've just got to find a way to get number 6. Is that a goal now that you talk about openly week to week? Get that get that one more win. Go.
Yeah, well, I think it's really important. I look at it, because we're sitting on 5. So yeah, 6 is big because it's the next one. So that's always my message. Let's go get that next victory. It just happens to be 6. I'm not. Yeah, sure, it would be nice. I'm not going to deny that. But it's important. It's our next game, and that's how we look at it.
At some point, does that hang too heavy, though? Is it too soon to talk about that?
I think it's too soon to talk about that. I don't think that's the reason why we need to go get number 6, even though we know the value in it. I think the reason we need to get number 6 because we're sitting on 5. So.
Or do you have a feel for whether you're going to get Boone back this week?
Mm-hmm. I believe so. Yeah, he should be fine. Let's hope he doesn't have any setbacks. He was very close, and I don't want to get into all that. He probably technically could have played, but we just didn't. We didn't want to.
What do you see from the running backs overall? It looks like, at least on the depth chart, you kind of opened that up this week.
It's been like it has been. Not much has changed. We need to continue to work some of those guys in. And we had plans last week with Mikkel, and then he goes in and fumbles his first play, and that obviously rattles your confidence a little bit. But we need, we've already talked about that. We can't let it. We need to get him back in there and get him playing, and we will. Mikkel has worked his way into the rotation, and we need to get him in there. He'll get in there this week, and he needs to, and we expect Boom to get in there. So we'll continue to rotate those guys.
Coach, it's very unusual for me to ask about another player from another team, but what brought it to mind for me, as you mentioned, is missing those 3 or 4 tackles you won 2 weeks ago. Is that number 13? Is he that good?
Yeah, I believe. Obviously, he was against us, and he's been against a lot of teams. They're rushing the ball for, 275 yards a game or whatever it is. So, they're pretty good. And I think they, as I talked about all last week, their scheme is difficult. Their quarterback is difficult. And then when you put the tailbacks and their other big, strong guys, yeah, they make some great plays. That's why they're leading our conference in total offense and are up there nationally and number 1 team in the country. So, again, I think they deserve it. They beat us, and so.
Coach, can you talk about the defense as you line the season winding down? How much more important and critical is it to stop teams and dig in and really make some stops?
Well, I think it's very important. We had some stops, as you know. It was a struggle, but we gave ourselves some opportunities in that game to get it back to even, and we didn't convert. So it goes back to team, so I think it's very important. If you look at us the last 2 weeks, and I'm not happy with it. I think everybody's going to ask questions about it when you're talking about the rush game and things like that and defending the run. But again, Just look at LSU. You know, I wasn't, like last week when I talked about it, I wasn't losing my mind. I mean, they sat there and ran for 275 yards against Ole Miss. They're pretty darn good up front. Ole Miss is dominant up front. And so that's what they do now. LSU's running the ball and playing defense, and they're pretty good at running it. Mississippi State, same way. Can we do things better? Absolutely. Do we need to? Absolutely. Starting with me and starting with the coaches on down to the team, and we will. But they're pretty good.
Does your own
Yeah.
running back have more to do with something your backs aren't doing, or is it just to do more the front sevens?
You know, yeah, exactly. That's a big part of it, and we're still trying to be the team that we want to be, and we're still, you know, we're not there yet. We want to be a team that's balanced. You have to be able to run the ball some, and so there's some very good teams the last couple weeks up front, and you know, it's not like we're completely inept. We did have some good runs, and just like Mississippi State, and as I've talked about all the time, with us incorporating some of that Q run game, it was difficult on them as well.
The sky is sort of falling on special teams for a lot of fans, it seems. What's your approach after the last 2 weeks?
I thought we played outstanding on special teams. I think we had a 47-yard net. I mean, that's pretty hard to do against a team like that with the return. I mean, you know, the kickoffs were great. Kickoff return, that kicker, I mean, it was ridiculous how high and how well he kicked the ball. So that makes it extremely difficult on your kickoff return. But across the board, I thought the guys responded. None of us were happy with the week before. We know that's not acceptable. Coach Niver knows that, and our players, and but we've all had our moments this year, offense, defense, and special teams, where we've not done our part. Special teams responded extremely well. I thought the guys competed and played very good in this last week. Just because a kick didn't go our way, I mean, that's, like I said after the game, I don't like those odds no matter who's kicking or how you're kicking it. It's difficult, and the ball didn't bounce our way on that. You can't blame that on you know, that's our fault for being in that situation.
Mark, this is a hypothetical, but had you recovered that kick and then scored a touchdown, would you have gone for 2?
I was thinking about it, yeah. I don't know. I wish I'd have had that opportunity. Yeah. But I was thinking about it, yeah.
Mark, your team is growing and evolving each week, obviously. In a general sense, is there a next step you need to see in this team, or just more of the same?
Well, there is, and again, I think it's rooted in our discipline and where we're going as a program, and there's no excuses for you know, not doing our job and not being accountable to technique and fundamentals, and I constantly harp on that with our players and our coaches, and it shows up every week, and so we need to continue to grow and get better and you know, do some routine things better.
Is technique and fundamental work, is that at this point of the season as much mental as physical, or more so?
Yeah, I believe it is. You know, because again, like I said earlier, it gets down to discipline, and that's a choice.
How difficult is to catch up with this Savage watch? I mean, you caught up a lot this year, but you can like a Mississippi State on the field. They're
Yeah.
Big guys.
They are some big guys, and that's you know, we are working that way, and we're a more physical team this year than we were last year, and we're going to be a more physical team next year than we are this year, and so that's, you know, part of building a program, and you have to be physical and you have to have some bounce, and you know, within your team, and we're working on that.
Mark, it's been a long time since this team won a true road game. What are the secrets? Is there a secret to getting a team prepared to go win away from?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to some of the things I just talked about, with that toughness and the mentality and the discipline that we have, because there's no excuse, there's no reason not to go play our very best and have that, you know, just have that attitude about us, because you know, nobody's going to hand you over any victories. You got to go earn them, and you got to go win them, And you got to get on the road and get on that plane with a tough mentality about you. And our players got to play at the highest level they can. And that was the message to them yesterday when I met with them.
Coach, when you get done looking at the film, can you tell us a couple of the linemen that really stood out that rated well on your film?
Melvin's doing a good job still. Melvin really, against the quality center, I thought he really did some good things. Bud played extremely well. Darian Miller's been doing a very nice job. He had one bad play, I want to say, one play that stuck out, but heck, against some good guys. But I thought he was really battling and doing a nice job. We need to continue to work and play better inside on the offensive line. But Swindle and Darian are really playing tough.
Mark, after you all looked at the film, you had those two series offensively in the second half when you were down 7 and had the ball. You went 3.5. Is there any rhyme or reason to what happened?
Well, as you know, we're not very good behind the chains, and so, when we don't convert on first down, and I think that's something that Neil has done an excellent job. When our offense is moving the ball, having some drive starters and getting some things to get us going. When we get going, we're get our tempo going and get a good rhythm about us. We're play extremely well. If we're in predictable situations, not so well.
Mark, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, if you saw the telecast at all, but the national people were kind of raving about you and on some of the strip shows and everything.
I didn't.
The fact that you did play well against, in a big audience like that, how does that help you down the road?
I hope it does. I didn't know that or hear that or anything, but I felt like everybody's been pretty fair with us all year. As you play better, and if we continue, like I said a few times, if we win some games and continue to win, then we'll put ourselves in a position. Coach Kropp, come on now, just because you're a Hall of Famer. So we continue to win and put ourselves in a position to play in bigger games. The attention will come to the program. We just have to do our part.
What stands out about Matty Mock? He's been very good at times.
Yeah.
He's not played his best.
I think he's just one of those guys that has a great feel for the game. He really can throw the football, and I think he does a very good job of buying time and just having that feel in the pocket and making plays when they need to. So he's just a very good player. Obviously, it's as opposed to a year ago, they lost some very big wide receivers, so they're a little bit younger. But I still think they're just very good and, again, very well coached. They really want to be balanced. They're almost dead even again, run and pass. So, so he's just a good football player.
About Shane Ray, the defensive end, I think he leads the league.
Yeah, he does, and that's kind of been their staple the last couple years. They have two DNs again this year, Shane and Marcus. But last year, as well, I thought they were really disruptive, and that's what they do, and that's what I remember about them from playing them in person last year. And again, seeing that on film, I think they're. I know Coach Steckel, their defense coordinator, and does a great job, and the whole defense staff been together for a while, so. They're really disruptive. Again, they do a nice job of creating negative yardage plays and being disruptive up front and twisting and stunting and just playing hard.